I've never had one.
Well, let me take your phone number.
It doesn't matter now, because this will be our last appointment.
But are you sure? I mean...
I'm positive. I don't think you're very honest to me, John.
How do you mean?
How do I mean?
Yeah.
Because as you know, I've got a thing about being labelled as a psychopath. And being viewed as having the attributes and the personality of a psychopath. Which, I'll be honest, I find really traumatic and stressful and a bit of a head fuck. And I've kept asking people since I kind of looked at what my diagnoses were, and that's what it seemed to add up to. And nobody wants to sort of say yes or no. And it's always bothered me that nobody's disavowed me of that belief or conclusion. Which just made me more suspicious that that's what people think of me. So that's why I kept asking stubbornly, because I find it traumatic and very stressful, and it fucks with my head. There's a few things that have happened that have convinced me that actually I'm right in coming to that conclusion. But one, the fact that nobody's ever tried to disavow me of it. And I watched also Ian Brady, the Moors murderer, seems to have a similar diagnosis to me, and people call him a psychopath. But there was a programme on Broadmoor last night, and they had the psychiatrists from Broadmoor being interviewed, and they talked about people who are locked up in Broadmoor, and they talked about personality disorders, and they talked about dangerous people and dangerous personality disorders. And when I checked my diagnosis, I did notice severe personality disorder, which when you search that, it comes up as dangerous and severe personality disorder. And as you know, I reported sex abuse. This is something else that I mean to ask you about. And it may possibly have been Max Clifford, I don't know. And what I wanted to ask you about was, you asked me why am I reporting it now? And I wondered why you asked that.
I was curious as to why it was coming up now in your life.
It's never gone away in my life. It's always been there.
At the time, I think you said that because of this sort of Operation U-Tree, because of it being in the media, because of it being sort of around, that kind of provoked a lot of these kind of memories of it, and therefore that was my sense of what you...
Well, no, there were things about my abuser that would suggest that they were somebody that worked in the music industry. They were obviously very wealthy, because they took me to a flat which was somewhere where somebody with a lot of money lived. And they told me they worked in the music industry, and they told me their surname was Clifford. And they told me they knew other famous people, even though I didn't know who they weren't famous. So when all it came out in the media about, you know, all these famous people who predominantly seem to work at the BBC were abusing children, then I thought I maybe have some information that might help. So that's why I reported it.
I'm curious about what you said today, that this is the last session. I'm just mindful of what happened last time, which, you know, it seems like that there was a, you know, that you came the following day expecting to have a session and then didn't.
Yeah.
wondered if that had left you feeling kind of angry or
No, not really.
down or
I just think you probably thought I did that on purpose.
Well, I'm just curious as to how, you say this is the last session without saying any more about.
No, I think I told you on the last session.
You said that you might be moving out of
Yeah.
London and that we'd be likely to have just one more.
Yeah.
Which would have been last time.
Well, no, I probably would have had two more. Like last one and probably this one.
So is this what's now happening, that you're moving out of London?
I don't know. I don't trust you at all. Not one little bit. In fact, I don't trust any of you, to be honest. I think what you've done to me is a real good way to fuck with someone's head. It's quite cruel, I think.
What do you think? What do you mean?
I think to keep giving somebody more severe diagnosis without actually discussing it with that person, just keep dropping it to them as they're walking out the door, and letting them go away and find out what it means themselves, and when they come back and say, hang on, it feels like you're calling me a psychopath, they don't want to answer the fucking question. That feels like a bit of a way to screw with someone's head. You wouldn't do it to someone with cancer. You wouldn't give them some sort of diagnosis that didn't use the word cancer, and then let them go away for a month, find out what that diagnosis actually was, that it was some sort of terminal cancer where people only usually get 6 months to 12 months to live, and they come back to you and say, excuse me doctor, when I was here last time, did you just tell me that I've got terminal cancer and I'm going to die quite soon? You wouldn't not tell them, would you?
Is this the process that you think has happened here?
Yeah, I do think it's happened here. I do, and not just with you, with Dr. Stern and at Unity House. The minute I looked up what those diagnoses were, and every search that I find on the internet anywhere comes up with psychopath, I'm not supposed to take that seriously. I'm not supposed to go, what? Hang on, what? That's telling somebody there's something that they don't feel they are. That's a total head fuck. You're not a stupid man. You understand that. You do understand that, right?
I understand that it's very it's felt very disturbing,
Yeah.
and stirring up and difficult.
Yeah, and what's really funny about it is that any way that I might respond to it would just confirm to somebody that I am indeed a psychopath. Like if I make a complaint about it and say I'm not happy about this is outrageous, hang on, you screwed with my head, you're telling me I'm this, that and the other when I don't think I am. You've put into doubt my whole sense of self. Oh look, he's complaining, that's what psychopaths do, they make lots of complaints, they complain about things, and then they get angry when they're called out about being a psychopath. I've done all those things. But I think if you probably had mental difficulties and you went to somebody for some help, and that's what they told you, and you didn't think that was right, you'd probably be pretty fucking angry about it as well.
And it really puts you in a difficult position in terms of feeling that you need some kind of help and support at the moment, but finding it hard to trust people.
I needed help and support, that's why I came.
Yeah.
That's why I came. And actually what you've done, or what people have done, is given me these diagnoses which seem to add up to me being a psychopath. And I don't feel that anybody understands me or has a willingness to understand me at all. In fact, Dr. James said I was paranoid, but that very thing has actually made me far more paranoid than I ever was.
Because what I've been kind of struck by is this kind of dilemma over whether you can trust me and whether you can use these sessions to come to terms with some of these kind of conflicts and difficulties, and a sense in which you've been doing that on and off, in which you're now sort of suggesting that you've come to a point where you can't continue with the sessions, or you don't want to continue with the sessions.
No, because, well, you haven't helped me. I don't know how many sessions I've had. I've never come out of here feeling that I'm better off coming here. In actual fact, I just feel like worse off. It just perpetuates the stress and the anxiety and like, who the fuck am I? It just perpetuates all that. I don't know why I don't think I should listen to you people at all. I think I've had too much faith in the fact that you know what you're talking about or you know what you're doing.
Is it sort of shaking you because it feels like...
I'm totally traumatised by it. I don't know how many times I have to say that.
It feels like a bit of a change from the last time we met, and I just wondered if something about what happened last time with coming on a different day.
Well, I'm unstable, you know, so...
Well, just whether it's had an impact in some way on your feeling of whether this is kind of...
Well, no. I mean, I've kept coming. I'm not happy with what people have done. I'm not happy that people really have kind of screwed in my head and my sense of self. And it's caused me personally a lot of anxiety and suffering. I'm not happy about that. But I've kept coming in the hope that you know, I will get some help. And that doesn't look like it's ever going to happen. And I've tried to trust people, and I don't trust any of it, because you're not fucking honest.
So you're saying that you don't feel that you can trust me enough to let me know why you're finishing these sessions or what you're doing next with your life or whether you're moving or not?
It's none of your business, really, is it?
Well,
you don't want to tell me anything about you. You don't want to share anything with me, do you? Why the hell should I share anything with you?
Well, you know, well, there is a difference, isn't there, in the positions that we're in and why we're here. But what I'm sort of wondering about is you're sort of, you know, asking for help and sort of starting with something and talking about, I think, some very kind of personal and painful things in between.
No, but that's what psychopaths do, don't they? Psychopaths do that, don't they? Psychopaths will tell you a sob story to get your empathy.
This word psychopath is a word that's not been used by anyone apart from yourself, isn't that right?
That's right.
And
the psychiatrist at Broadmoor used it in the documentary yesterday. When they were talking about severe personality disorders, they were talking about dangerous people and psychopaths. These psychopathic narcissists. So they use that term. They use that term psychopath for somebody who's got a severe personality disorder, and the internet uses it, and I think the government's own website uses it for severe personality disorder. It uses dangerous and severe personality disorder, which is the kind of the modern, I guess, my opinion, my view, is that's the modern term for a psychopath. It's not a clinical diagnosis anymore, is it, psychopath?
no.
No, but a rose by any other name. It's still a rose, right? Of course, I had to make 2 complaints about my sexual abuse, because they didn't investigate it at all. In fact, all they did was come up with a lot of excuses about why they couldn't investigate it. None of them seems very valid to me. They seem to be making a lot of excuses. But then they did take it seriously, and I had a 4-hour interview with a detective on video. I only got a couple of breaks to go out and have a cigarette, and I sat in the same place, and she came out with me when I went and had my cigarette. And then, a bit like you, I thought it was a bit of a bizarre thing to do at the end of it, at the end of the 4 hours. She, well, I wanted a cigarette, and then they had 20 minutes left on the disc to tape, so they said, can you wait? And I said, okay. So we finished it, but I was in there for 4 hours. And then she started asking me questions about my sexuality, which I was quite offended by, like, what the fuck has my sexuality got to do with being abused as a child? It's a bit like you saying, oh, why are you reporting it now?
I think you take that to mean something different.
Well, I do, because I guess if you see, I guess if you see other people who tell you that they were sexually abused as children, and perhaps you might be the first person that they've ever told. I don't think your response to them would be, why are you telling me now?
I think you take that to mean something different, as in me sort of questioning the validity of what you're saying, which is not, it was not the intention behind the question.
Well, I asked you what the intention was and you didn't say.
Well, it's a straightforward question to my mind of why